Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm coming back in. My brothers and sisters, come to the dinner table. I had some technical difficulties. So come on in, come on in. I apologize, I apologize, I apologize. Let me get onto it. We're at the dinner table. If this is your first time at the dinner table, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Toomer, and I talk about relationships. I talk about relationship basically from a biblical point of view. And when I said biblical, if you go to the book of Genesis, God had a unique relationship with the man Adam. Secondly, he had a unique relationship with the woman Eve. Thirdly, God represented the woman to the man. And in the presence of God, the man Adam said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, I shall call a woman. So that's the position that I come from. If this is your first time back with me at the dinner table, for those of you that are coming back in, I apologize. I had some technical difficulties. And those of you that let me know it, I really appreciate it. I see Brother Jay Boogie, you're back. So, Brother Jay, how am I looking right now, brother? Let me know how I'm looking right now. Is it freezing or am I good to go? Just let me know when I'm good to go. And while we'll wait for some more brothers and sisters to come in, this is a good night for you to be at the dinner table. We are about to get into the menu. And what's on the menu? What's on the menu tonight is if a man gets a good woman to become a wife, she will come directly from God. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate that. So you brother and sister, come on in, come on in. Your brother Tony is back, and I apologize for the complications. Okay, sometime when it comes to technology, hey, it's not working. So I'm back. So I'm glad you brother and sister back. Welcome back, my mother. Welcome back, Sister Flo. Welcome back, some of your brothers and sisters. Come on in, come on in. Your brother Tony is at the dinner table, and on the menu for tonight, we are going to discuss if a man gets a good woman to become his wife, she will come directly from God. That's where she will come from. She will come directly from God. There's no other way a man can get a good woman besides God is in the equation. Now, what I'm about to say, my brother and sister, there is no exception to what I'm about to say. A man could basically marry some type of woman, but all women aren't good. There are only a handful of women that are good. And that's what we're going to discuss at the dinner table. What is about a good woman? Now, we know, brothers, and we know, sisters, that every good thing and every perfect thing comes from God. When we go to the book of James, we're going to go to the book of James 1:17. Again, that's James 1:17, James 1:17. And James covered everything that's good and perfect that come from God, but we're going to narrow it down for one aspect, and we're going to break it down to the gift of a woman, okay? Sister Flo said, if a man gets a good woman, she came direct from God. I mean, now, in the book of James, it say, every good and perfect gift comes from above. It comes down from the Father of the heavenly light, who does not change like shifty shadows. Now, it said every good, perfect gift comes from above. That means from heaven. So, brother, if you got a good woman, how you doing, Sister Teresa? If you got a good, welcome to the dinner table, Sister Teresa. If you have a good woman, brother, she comes from above. Because God said she's a good and perfect gift is from above. Now, brother, if you have a good woman, that's your gift from God. And I'm going to tell you how you was able to get this good gift from God later on. It's not going to be too far, because I'm not going to keep you all long. So she comes directly from God. Now, there are two types of men. There are worldly men and there are spiritual men or godly men. Now, a worldly man desires to have a good woman. Worldly man wants to have a good woman. Why does a worldly man want a good woman? So he could trample her on his foot or his feet. He wants to use. He wants to mentally, emotionally, physically, financially use the woman up, because he will look at that woman as, I'm going to get everything out of out of her because she's not going to go nowhere. That's how worldly men do it. Now, when I say worldly man, I don't mean he have to be real mean and vicious, because most men at the beginning, you're not going to see how that man really is, because most people wear masks at the beginning of a relationship. But right now, we're focusing on a worldly man. Now, when a worldly man captivates the attention of a woman, and a woman, she gives her heart to a man, because most of the time, women in general, now not all the time, but in general, women prefer to get into a relationship quicker than men do. Most of the time, women are quicker to get into a relationship than men. How you doing, Sister Aikens? Welcome to the dinner table. But then on the flip side, there are some men that ready to jump into a relationship. But the worldly man wants a good woman. But guess what? God, if you're a good woman, this is very important that you listen to me. If you're a good woman, you are responsible for not letting a worldly man woo you. Okay, you don't want no worldly man to woo you. The only way, sister, that a worldly man is going to woo you is that you did not ask God for discernment. It was something about that man that captivated you. It could have been he looked good. He could have had some good smell of cologne. He had a real good talk game. He had some stuff, meaning assets and stuff, and you desired that. Don't you know, brother, and especially sister, don't you know that Satan give his son some things? Satan he load his sons up with a lot of things to bamboozle you. Satan's sons, my sister, they will come to you with a silver platter and open the top and give you what he thinks that you want. And once you get it, that's it. You see, the thing about Satan, this is the thing about Satan, my brother and sister. Satan gives you the best furs, but it don't last. He always going to try to give you the best fur, but it won't last. He don't tell you about the tail end of it. But the thing about a godly man or God give you what's good from the beginning, and it get better in time. For example, Jesus went to a wedding, and when Jesus went to the wedding, they had wine and everything, right? So they had some good wine, but guess what? The good wine, it ran out. So Jesus, at this particular time, he was about 30 years old. So his mother was there at the wedding, and she got wind that they was running out of wine. So she went and talked to her son Jesus a little bit. Now, this is the first recorded miracle that Jesus recorded. She went and told Jesus, but at that particular time, Jesus didn't do nothing. How you doing, Sister Tierra? Welcome to the dinner table. So Mary went to the servant, and she said, basically, I'm paraphrasing, go to my son, and whatever he tell you, that's what you do. So the servants, they went to Jesus, and Jesus said, fill them pots up to the brim, and then give it to the governor of the feast. So they filled the water, they filled the old big jars up to the rim. And so the governor of the feast, he dipped in and he drank, and he said, he asked the man that was in charge of it, he said, where did you get this wine from? And he said, like that, he did like, and that man said, I ain't never had no wine like this before. I thought that you had gave us the best wine, but you say the best wine for last. That was a miracle or a gift from Jesus. The same thing. The same thing. Brothers, no matter what woman that you had a history with, some of the women that you probably got entangled with, though were not the women, were the woman that God wanted you to have. You see, God always I always say he had a ram in the bush, and God give you the best. He started off good, but it get better and better with time. So that's what I'm saying. Now, going back to there are two types of men. Worldly men want the wine that Jesus give, the best when it comes to a woman. Finest wine. That's what they want, but they ain't no get it. Godly men get the finest of wine, that particular woman. Now, a worldly man, he's one that follows the God of this world. We're going to make a distinction before I get really into it. A worldly man, he followed the God of this world. That's the little g, the little o, and the little d. Now, and who is the God of this world? He is none other than the Prince of Darkness. Who is the Prince of Darkness? Or to say it differently, he's the God of this world, as it is written in 2 Corinthians 4:4. 2 Corinthians 4:4. 2 Corinthians 4:4. It said, in whom the God of this world have blinded the minds of them that believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them, as it is written. So we're going to go a little more further with this. As it is written, Jesus said this in John 14:30. John 14:30. John 14:30 said, hereafter I will not talk much with you, for the prince of this world cometh, and have nothing in me. Also, as it is written in Ephesians 2:2, Ephesians 2:2, Ephesians 2:2, it said, wherein the time past ye walked according to the course of this world, obeying the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now working in the children of disobedience. Question, who was Jesus talking about? Who am I talking about? I'm talking about none other than Satan, the God of this world, little g, O-D. Because Jesus even are saying, Jesus said, Jesus said this again in John 14:30. He said, here am, I will not talk much to you, for the prince of this world, the prince of this world, because see, Jesus from another world. So we talk about the world sister. So these are Satan's sons. They want one of God's daughters. They want the best, but the only thing they want the best to destroy you, because just like they dad, what they dad are about, Satan, the kill, the steal, and destroy. That's how his sons are. So, sister, you have to be careful about this. You are a good woman, sister. You got to identify you are a good woman. You may have a desire for a man, but that's why I always tell you, sister, I said, always pray when a man come up to you doing that. Always pray, because you don't know whether it's Satan or God. When you pray to God, God will give you discernment, and you should know. And also, a man, you would know whether a woman is from God or Satan, because there are two sides to this coin. Now, a godly man is a man that simply set his heart on a life of love and obedience to God through his son, Jesus the Christ. This man developed into godliness within his heart when the Holy Ghost or the Holy Spirit come into his body and resides and abide in his body. And the Spirit of God teaches this man a godly lifestyle, which causes the manifestation of God, of a godly life. And you will be able to tell this man by the fruits that he bears, okay? Remember, Jesus said you could tell a tree by the fruit it bears. A good tree cannot produce bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot produce good fruit. And you would be able to tell this, sister, by man words and outward behavior. A godly man seeketh God progressively, and he continue in the will of God to fulfill his life purpose. Remember the topic now that we're saying. I'm building this all up so we can get into, if a man gets a good woman to become his wife, she will come directly from God. Now, in Ecclesiastes, now we're about to break it down. Now we get into the meal part of it. In Ecclesiastes, chapter 26:23. Again, Ecclesiastes, chapter 26:23. Ecclesiastes, chapter 26:23. It states this. Remember, I have told you what a wicked man is, and I have told you what a godly man is. Now, according to God's word, remember, God gives. That's right. God even give to wicked people. Don't you know God give to wicked people? God give air to wicked people to live. He sure does. God take care of wicked people too. But they're going to come to an end. Even though a wicked person does not appreciate it. Now, back to what I just said. Ecclesiastes 26:23. It states this. It say, a wicked woman, listen to what I'm saying. It said a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man. But a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord. Listen to me carefully again. God causing all this to happen, okay? Because if a man is wicked, guess what God gonna give him? He's gonna give him a wicked woman. Because he's not fit for a godly woman. And God give a good woman to a good man. God is over all, my brother and sister. Again, listen to this very carefully. Don't hear me, listen. A wicked woman, according to Ecclesiastes 26, a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man. That means they go together. And so she is assigned to that man, and that man is assigned to her. But here's the contract. It said, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord. Now, this statement, my brother and sister, from God, word proved without a shadow of a doubt that God is the only reason why a godly man is given a godly woman. How you doing, brother Shaggy D? You understand that, my brother and sister? God is the giver of a godly woman. Prime example, and I have said this before, prime example. What is a wicked woman? And what is a good woman? Let me present two type of women to you. And I have said it before, but I'm going to say it again. We have Jezebel on the left, and we have Ruth on the right. Jezebel goes with a man called Ahab. Why does she go with a man called Ahab? Because he was wicked. And she was wicked. How you doing, Sister Deborah D. Scott? Welcome to the dinner table. And I think, brother Shaggy D, hopefully I invited you to the dinner table too, but how you doing, brother? Now, and then on the right side, we have Ruth. Ruth was a godly woman, and she was given to a godly man. Going back to Ecclesiastes 26:23, you see how God gave Jezebel to Ahab. It said a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man. And then you see how God gave a good woman to Boaz. It said, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord. You understand? That's how it goes. God orchestrates everything, my brother and sister. God used Satan to match people up. Did you know that? This is some deep stuff. God allows Satan to match people up. Satan cannot do it. He's not free will. He can't do everything he want to do. As a matter of fact, he has to get permission from God to do stuff. Because you see, when a wicked woman and a wicked man together, they both gonna bust hell open together. That's where they're going to, the after party. That's where they're going. But a godly man and a godly woman, they're going to go to God. Now, if a man gets a good woman to become his wife, she comes directly from God. Now, what type of woman are we talking about? We're talking about a Ruth type of woman. Let's look at the contrast between Jezebel, a wicked woman, and look at the contrast of Ruth. Let's talk about Jezebel. History, well, outside the Bible, they try to say that Jezebel was an attractive woman, but she was wicked. What do I mean by wicked? You got to go on the inside of her heart. What was on the inside of Jezebel's heart, it was displayed on the outside. Jezebel And some of you have heard of the Jezebel spirit, right? Jezebel, and this is a key thing, brother, this is a key thing. If you are talking to a woman and she got a controlling attitude, that's not attitude, it's a spirit. It's called the Jezebel spirit. If you run into a woman that is controlling, she wants to control a man, she needs a Ahab, which you are not, brother. You're not an Ahab. Ahab was a weak, spineless man. Jezebel told him what to do. She had a controlling spirit. And brother, if you with a woman that got a controlling spirit, you in trouble. You see, for one thing, you shouldn't be with no woman that got a controlling spirit, because she gonna tell you what to do. She gonna tell you how to jump. You see, a man was the order is God is the head of Christ, Christ is the head of man, man is the head of a woman, right? But the Jezebel type of woman, she did not believe in the one true God. So she was into a pagan God. So when she was with a pagan God, it was a reversal. It's the woman over the man. She was the queen. Ahab was a king, but he was a weak, spineless type of man. But he was evil. As a matter of fact, Ahab was known to be one of the most evilest kings in Israel. Okay, now listen to this. Brother, if you are in a relationship with a controlling woman, a boss type of woman, a woman that like to do things her way, a woman that like to call the shots, and you just go along with her, and you one of these type of men, brother, don't ever be one of these type of men, a yes dear type of man. You ever see some weak men that yes dear, whatever you say dear, those aren't godly men. If you in a relationship with a Jezebel type of woman, brother, she's not going to respect you. She's going to run over you. She's going to do things in your face. She's not going to care about you. A Jezebel type of woman wants you to run after her, brother. A Jezebel type of woman wants you to have something in your hand. It's not about you. It's about what you have. You see, Ahab was a king before he met Jezebel. He married Jezebel, and Jezebel became a queen. That's how she became a queen, because he married her. He wasn't supposed to do it, but he defied God anyway. Ahab, he did it his way. That's why God gave him Jezebel. Have you ever noticed, my brother and sister, since this one particular woman named Jezebel, do you know of any woman that have named her daughter Jezebel? Have you known of any man that named his daughter Jezebel? That's one name that people don't pass down. Just think about it. That's one name of a woman that the people don't pass down, but they will pass down a name like Ruth. Why do women don't call their daughter Jezebel? Why? Why does a man don't call his daughter Jezebel? Why? Why would a man call his daughter Ruth, and why would a woman call her daughter Ruth? Because we're talking about character. Ruth was known for character. Okay, as Jezebel was a control freak, Ruth was a humble woman. Jezebel was about what can you do for me now? How you doing, Sister Stephanie? Welcome to the dinner table. That's what Jezebel about. Sister Teresa said Jezebel was wicked, worship the god Balaam. That's right. She worshiped a false god. Now, you see, that's a contrast too. You see, if you deal with a woman that's controlling, she don't worship the real God through his son Jesus. She might say she does, but she doesn't. Whereas, brother, if you marry a woman that has the characteristic like Ruth, that woman, she has the character of God in her. Now, what's the contrast? You see, Ruth was not controlling. Ruth was humble. You see, just because Ruth was humble, that does not mean she was weak. She was a strong woman. You see, a strong woman is a feminine woman. Listen to what I say. A strong woman is a feminine woman. A strong woman is I got to block this person that coming in now with some crazy stuff. But anyway, let me tell you about Ruth. Ruth was married at one time, but her husband died. Ruth came, but started believing in the one true God, because at one time, Ruth was not into the real true God, but she met a woman named Naomi and she married a son. So she started believing in the one true God. As a matter of fact, she moved back to Naomi's hometown. And that's how God set it up for her to meet Boaz, for Boaz to find her. So Ruth, she was a very humble woman and she thought about people. That's another key thing. She was thoughtful. She cared about God and she cared about her mother-in-law. Ruth, when Ruth went to work, she was working for her mother-in-law and herself. Ruth was not looking for a man to do nothing for her. Whereas Jezebel, she was one of those women that you have to have something. Ahab had the bad. He had the bad, but he got it but because he was the king of Israel. He had popularity, he had power, and he was one of the who's who. He was a mover and a shaker, but he was weak and he was evil. He was so evil that he wanted something that this other man had. This man had this one certain thing that he wanted. And he started crying about it. Jezebel went to him and said, "What's wrong with you, boy?" And he told Jezebel, you know what Jezebel said? "Why are you crying? Why are you acting like a little girl? You the king. Why are you acting like a little girl? Why don't you take it from him?" And he took it. He went by Jezebel. And the long story is Jezebel, when things were getting taken from her, her husband even got killed. Out of everything, Jezebel wanted to flaunt her stuff in front of this one particular man. She started putting on makeup. Now, don't get me wrong when I say makeup. There's nothing wrong about a woman putting on makeup. She thought that she was going to impress this one particular man to spare her. This particular man, he didn't care nothing about how Jezebel looked. And this brother, what you got to understand too, you can't go by what a woman looked like on the outside, because it's about her heart. Jezebel, even though she made herself up real good, she still was an evil, wicked woman. She was about me, myself, and I. And then you mix a little Delilah in there too. You miss another woman. Do any of you know of any woman or man that named their daughter Delilah? That's another name you ain't gonna hear about. You're not gonna hear about no Delilah, are you? Why? Because Delilah was about me, myself, and I. She fooled Samson that she loved him, but she was using Samson. Usury. She used Samson. She sold Samson out for some money. Jezebel used Ahab. Jezebel were running things. So I would put a Ruth up against a Jezebel and a Delilah any day. Now let's go back to Ruth. When Ruth came in, Ruth was all about her grind. Ruth was not looking for no man that was popular. Listen to this. She wasn't looking for no man that had the bag. She wasn't looking for no man to get her nails done. She wasn't looking for no man to pay her she ain't had no car during that time. Maybe she had a donkey or something. She wasn't looking for none of that. Ruth was not looking for a man to pay her house bills or her rent. Wherever her name was, she wasn't looking for none of that. Ruth was on her grind. Now, you know what? You can say Ruth was her own woman. Ruth was her own woman, but God was taking care of Ruth, right? But God also knows Ruth had a desire for a man. Jezebel would not have gotten with Ahab unless he had power position, because she was going to pull the strings. Jezebel controlling. Ruth humble. Jezebel about the bag or what the man have. Ruth was about the man, who the man is. Why do I mean that? When Ruth met Boaz, you didn't see nowhere in the scripture where she was all about what he have. Boaz was not as popular as Ahab. Ahab was a king. He was a king through his father Satan. Boaz was a prince. He was a son of God. You see the difference? He was a son of God. Boaz was. So God calls this wonderful woman, Ruth, to be in a situation where Boaz found her. God orchestrated for Ruth to be employed on Boaz's property. When Boaz seen Ruth, out of all the women that was out there, it's something that stood out about this woman, Ruth. The Bible don't say how Ruth looked physically. It doesn't say. The only thing the Bible basically show you about Ruth is her character. She was a woman of character. She could have looked nice. I don't know. I wasn't back there. The Bible don't say how she looked. The Bible does say that Sarah was a nice looking woman. It say that Rachel was a nice looking woman. It say that Esther was a nice looking woman. But even though these women had outside beauty, they had beautiful qualities on the inside. So, brother, the thing about not only Ruth, you got to understand that. You see, Sister Teresa, Ruth had the fruit of the Spirit of God. That's right. Galatians 5:22-27. Galatians 5:22-27. That's exactly right. Ruth had the Spirit, the fruit of the Spirit. Jezebel, whatever Ruth had from the fruit of the Spirit, Jezebel had the fruit of not what was contrary to what Ruth had. Everything that Ruth had good, Jezebel had it the negative way, the backside of the coin. So God gave Ruth to Boaz. When he gave Ruth to Boaz, Boaz already had his stuff together. You understand? Boaz had his stuff together when he met Ruth. Ruth, brothers, you got to understand this. A good woman, brother, you got to understand this. A good woman do not want what you have. Listen to me two more times. A good woman don't want what you have. A good woman don't want what you have. A good woman want you for who you are. That's what a lot of you brothers got to understand. A good woman want who you are, not what you have. Even though you may have it, it's not about what you have. It's about who you are, brothers. Worldly women are about what you have. Godly women aren't about what you have, because you see, godly women know that you the son of God, so you have everything anyway, because they know your Father God, and they know whatever God have is everlasting. Whereas Satan, everything that he could present to his son to give to a woman is temporary. So let me get you to understand it, brother. A evil or wicked woman, you can't be going by she looked like a what they have on TV and movie like a witch. You can't go by that. There are some evil women that look real good. They look very good. There are some wicked women that look like models, and they evil. They stuck up. They had their nose in the air, and they want you to run after them. Now, don't get me wrong. I ain't talking about all good-looking women. I'm talking about a whole bunch of. We talk about the old one that got the Jezebel spirit, brother. Anytime you have to run after a woman, anytime you have to run after a woman, that's a Jezebel. Brother, anytime you have to have stuff, that's a Jezebel. Brother, anytime you have to do everything and she don't contribute nothing, that's a Jezebel. Anytime she have to get the last word in, that's a Jezebel. Anytime you see her, you always have to give her something, that's a Jezebel. And she will give you a little something for all that you have. And when you lose what you have, the Jezebel woman, she's going to bounce on you to another evil man. Jezebel type of women, they don't have nothing. They go by how they go by. Let me tell you what a Jezebel woman go by. And you all have seen these Jezebel women. And they got the Jezebel spirit. These are the women that got the Jezebel spirit. You could tell by their outward appearance. You see, when you look at these Jezebel women from their outward appearance, it goes by what's on their minds, okay? Look at how unmodest some of these women dress. Women that like to flaunt their flesh, Jezebel spirit. They may look good, they may be fine, but when they have to show everything, that's the Jezebel spirit. You know why they're doing this? And brother, you got to understand, because you see these Jezebel women, they know that men like, they go by what they see. So brother, when you meet these Jezebel women, you got to go beyond what you see. Because see, brother, what's going to happen if you deal with these Jezebel type of women? What they're going to do, they're going to call you to lust. That's what they're going to do. Jezebel women call you to lust. You know what I mean? They showing you all their breasts to lust. What do you be thinking about when you see all those breasts, brother? All you think about doing is putting your hand on them and putting them in your mouth. That's all you thinking about. When you see how they dress and they showing a whole bunch of stuff, all you thinking about, brother, is being physical with these women. I'm talking to you godly men. You only thing you could come up with is physical. You don't see her for nothing else. That was the Jezebel women. You see them in public. You see them especially on social media. They show you so much they don't have no modesty in them. And these type of Jezebel, Delilah-like women, these type of women, especially if they're on the book, these type of women, their inbox be blowing up. You know why their inbox will be blowing up, brother? You're not the only one that be reaching out to these Jezebel women. Other men are reaching out to them. You know why the other men are reaching out to them? Because they lusting after these women. There are some women that got platforms, and some of these guys, hopefully you're not one of these guys, some of these guys, they are actually cash apping, and not only cash apping, but what that other thing, cash app and Zelle, they zelling these type of women. They don't even know these women, but they giving their money to these type of women and don't even know them. And they tell these women how good they look, how fine they are, and they will use titles like queens. You see these type of women, right? And not only this, they like to do a lot of wicked things, like go to your average club. How you doing, Auntie David? Go to your average club. Watch how they dance. Watch that lustful dance some of them be doing. And one of the most lustful dances that they be doing is twerking. Or they like to get on a pole, right? Have you ever noticed this? Some of these brothers, they like to get on a pole, right? They like to go up and down on these poles, right? Jezebel type of women. And these Jezebel type of women, they want you to feed their egos. And some of you brothers, it's sad to say, some of you brothers, you're feeding these Jezebel women their egos. But you ain't no tell me, because you know I would have to talk to you about it. And then when you listen to them talk, listen to how they talk. Most of them cannot carry on a simple conversation. Most of the time when they talk about the housewives here, the housewife there. Their world is TV. Their world is buy me this, buy me that. Do this for me. Do this for me. Their motto is no money, no honey. Jezebel spirit women. And you suffer from them. They make you suffer mentally. They make you suffer emotionally, and especially financially, because they're going to hit your pockets. But some of you brothers, I ain't talking about worldly men, I'm talking about some of you brothers. You run after these type of women. And once they get finished with you, they're going to treat you like a Thanksgiving turkey, because Thanksgiving about to come up. What do I mean like a Thanksgiving turkey? They're going to feed you up. They're going to feed your head up, right? You know what the farmer do for, it's almost turkey time, right? It's almost Thanksgiving, right? You know what those turkeys doing right now? Those turkeys, they walking around on these turkey farm, they talking to each other and say, we living our best life. We sure eating, ain't we? Yeah, we eating. Yeah, we eating. We eating. We eating. They just don't know what's about to go down. They eating and eating and eating. Then what's going to happen? They're going to be walking down this certain aisle, right? And they're going to get the head chopped off. How you doing, Sister Shell Smith? They're going to get the head chopped off. And there was some of you, brother, you are the Thanksgiving chicken. I mean, the Thanksgiving turkey for some of these Jezebel women. They're going to fatten you up, and then they're going to cut your head off. And you ain't got nobody to blame but yourself. Because and it's sad to say, a lot of men, they deal with these Jezebel women. And when they deal with these Jezebel women, they conclude that all women are no good. There are some men that on platforms, especially on the tube, that downgrade women. They say women ain't about nothing. They want to use. They put all women in a category. The reason why they do it because they've been messing with those Jezebel spirit women. God gave then the flip side of it. Remember the topic. If a man gets a good woman to become his wife, she come directly from God. You see, God is not going to send you, brother, a girlfriend. He's not going to send you no girlfriend. God is not going to send you no woman that you see every now and then. He's not going to do that. God is not going to send you no woman that you go through at 12 a.m. in the night in the dark. He's not going to send you no woman that you ashamed of. He's not going to send you a woman that you got to hide. Can I get an amen on that? He's not going to send you a woman that you're going to hide. You got to hide. He's not going to send you a woman every time. You have to always call her. You always have to text her and beg her to see you. No. God going to send you a woman that is wife ready. She's not perfect. So, brother, you can't stop looking for a perfect woman. She doesn't exist. She doesn't exist. But he will send you the right woman. A Ruth type of woman. She's going to be very humble. She's going to be soft-spoken. She's going to be very feminine. Auntie Davis said, those are the kind of women they want, old fools. That's right, Auntie. She referred to the Jezebel type of women. But you got the Ruth type of woman, she's going to be very humble. She's going to be very kind. She's going to be very thoughtful. She's going to be thinking about not only you, she's going to be thinking about other people, and she's going to be thinking about strangers. She's going to have a pleasant personality. She's going to have all these inward traits, brother. And those inward traits are the fruit of the Spirit from God. That's what she's going to possess. You know why she's going to, that's right, Auntie David. She's going to be very supportive. That's real good. She's going to be very supportive. Those Jezebel type of women, they're not supportive because they're all about me, myself, and I. They're about you support me. But the Ruth type of women, they're very supportive. When these women know that you have an assignment in your life, a purpose, guess what? They're going to jump on the bandwagon and they're going to say, what can I do to help you move? These supportive women, they're your biggest cheerleaders. They might not, if God got you doing something, brother, you could be doing something. It ain't about you trying to be popular or nothing like that, but you could be doing something for God, right? But God can have a woman, she might not be out there like you, but she in the background supporting you. I'm going to give you a good example. That woman right there, a lot of time, and I have told you all this before, when I come and talk to you all at the dinner table, a lot of time I share with her what I'm going to talk about. And when I share what I'm going to talk about, she give me some input. So I want you all to know this. When I present stuff to you, I talk to different people, but I mainly talk to God first, then I talk to her. Then I might get some other feedback from other people, but my main people that I conversate with when it comes to presenting things to you is God through Jesus Christ and my wife. So if you want to know, so I don't want you all thinking that Tony is the one that be cooking everything at the dinner table. It's not all me. It's God, my wife, some of my family members, friends, and some of you all that talk to me. Some of you, God could put a thought in your mind and you run something by me and I say, hey, that's good. I can use that at the dinner table. But back to a good woman. She come directly from God. When she come directly from God, she coming because she that Proverbs 31 woman, brother. She the Proverbs 31 woman. She not perfect. But she right for you. And I'm going to tell you, these type of women, brother, don't mess up. Don't mess up when God brings you a good woman. Don't mess up. Don't allow that woman to think that another woman is in the picture. Don't ever do that. If this woman sniff the perfume of another woman, she's going to hold back. You don't want a good woman to hold back on you. You don't want her doubting not one time. I'm not saying that you won't fall. I'm not saying that she won't fall, but it's a very imperative that that woman have peace of mind. So when that woman have a peace of mind, when that woman have God in her, Jay Booker said, Bro Tony, one day you should write a book. I'm thinking about that, brother, because I had talked to my wife about that. I really did. But thank you, brother. I'm telling you this, brother, when you with the right woman, that good woman, you just don't want her to be your girlfriend. You don't want this woman to be a woman that you just sleep with. Because you see, brother, even you godly brothers, and I know what I'm talking about. If you just sleep with a woman and there's nothing on the back end of it, what is it? Let me tell you, sister, something. Listen to me carefully. When a man sleep with you, and when he releases his essence in you, most men, once they release that essence in you, that's it. That's it. He probably thinking about, now, how can I leave her house? I wish she leave my house. I might spend the night with her this time. All that, but he ain't thinking about nothing beyond that. The Jezebel type of women, that's what men look at. Let me tell you something, sisters. I ain't talking about you all, but I'm talking about these words. Let me tell you what men think about when they see these Jezebel. Come close. Let me tell you what these men think when they look at these Jezebel type of women. The only thing they think about is sex. Yeah, I see it. When these women be showing their breasts, when they be showing their bodies, even though they might look good and stuff, when they showing all that stuff, the only thing that come to me in mind is sex. That's it. That's all they look at. That's all they look at the women. That's all she got. That's all she got to offer. That's how men look at it. And I have to tell you the truth. That's how men look at women like that. That's all she got to offer is her body. What else does she have besides her body? She ain't got nothing up here. Nothing. You see, a man that follow God going to bring the right woman to him. And she's going to have those root characteristics. And that man, and one thing about it, a man that have a good woman, he don't mind who knows it. Because a man that have a good woman, guess what? He's going to let the world know. It ain't no be my private life. I don't want to talk about my private life. That's private. No. A man that has a good woman, he wants the world to know, because he wants the world to know that she was a gift from God himself. So when God give you something, you're supposed to spread the news. Whatever God give you that is good, you spread the news. You say this, brother. When another man are interested in a woman, you say, look, God did this for me. And you tell other men and people how God calls you, brother, to get this good woman. And you said, I didn't have nothing to do with it. You said it wasn't about my swag. It wasn't about how I talk. It wasn't about how I dress. It wasn't about how much money I had in the bank. It wasn't about the car I drive and none of that. No. God brought this woman to me. And that's how I find her. I did not find her just tripped over and found and looked up and she was. No, God orchestrated it. I wasn't even thinking about a woman. She wasn't even thinking about me, but God called us to be in a situation where I seen the woman. That's how men gonna say, I seen her. And how did he see her? God called that woman to, God always bring a woman to you. Listen to what I'm saying, brother. God always, does he, I don't mean he have to actually bring her and put her right in your face like that. No, you can see her different places. And when you see her different places, guess what? She's going to make you pause. A good woman will make you pause. And you're going to look at her for more than how she look. You're going to look at it's something about her, because she's going to be a particular woman. And when God bring that good woman to you, you're going to be thinking about, how can I wife her? That's what's going to go in your mind. How can I wife this woman? Only mature men that follow God don't want no girlfriend all their lives. Only mature men that Christians, a Christian man that follow God, because he know God don't want you playing with no woman. He knows it. He knows that God wants you to do right by that woman. God don't want, I'm telling you now, God don't want you, brother, dating no woman and using her and then jump to another woman. He don't want that. Because if you misuse a woman that God brought to you, and then you go to another woman, that woman going to Jezebel you out. So you better be careful, brother. When God brings a good woman to you and you want to dog her out, you better be very careful, because God gonna get you. It's especially that one his daughter. God is going to get you. And you see, you know how God gonna get you, brother. It's just like this. God gonna allow a wicked woman to suck you in. She's gonna suck you in, and when she suck you in, you're gonna be blind. You're going to be walking with your eyes open, but you're going to be blind. And then that woman going to pull a Houdini on you. That's what's going to happen when you with the wrong woman. Again, my brothers, listen. A man gets a good woman to become his wife. She will come directly from God. Brother, if you have a desire for a woman, don't do it your way. Don't ever do it your way. Do it God's way. Reach out to God and pray to God. If you have a desire for a woman, pray to God. I'm telling you, pray to God. Don't look for nobody to find a woman for you. Now, God could call the woman through your family, your friend. He can orchestrate that. But the first thing you do is pray to God. Because when God brings a woman to you, she's going to be a virtuous, Ruth-like woman. And you'll be able to see it. And you see, one of the key traits that a woman have that's a godly woman, you're going to experience peace. And you're not living in the Middle East, but you're going to experience peace. I could tell you, brother, listen, I know firsthand, if you just dating some women and they combative and they fussing and stuff, you know you're going to have a problem with peace. Now, when God bring you the right woman, just because God bring you the right woman, that doesn't mean that you won't have conflicts every now and then. You may have conflicts, okay? You may have conflict. But when God bring the right woman, you're going to experience an enormous amount of peace. I'm telling you, brother, and then you know what? You're gonna say to you, because if you was in a relationship with women that were combative and had that Jezebel spirit and stuff, and then God bring you a good woman, you're gonna say, this too good to be true. And you're gonna be waiting. You're gonna be waiting for that Jezebel to pop up, but you don't see it. And then days go by, you don't see it. Weeks go by, you don't see it. Months go by, you don't see it. Years go by, you can't see it. And you still in awe. How can a woman be this good? That's what you're going to say to yourself, brother. You're going to say, how can a woman be this good? You're going to say, I ain't never met no woman like this before. That's what you're going to say. I'm telling you, brother. You're going to say, I ain't never met no woman like this before. When you marry the woman that God gives you, let me tell you what you're going to do, brother. Let me tell you what you're going to do. You're going to be anxious to get home. You're going to be anxious to get home to her. Brother, you're going to be anxious to you're going to want to do things for what I call just because. You're going to be thinking about her. You're going to want to do things for her just because she's you. And let me tell you you're going to want to touch her, and that have to lead to sex. You're going to want to touch her. You're going to give her compliments because you want to build her up, because you know what you're going to end up doing, brother? You're going to say, you're going to even say, thank you for being in my life. You're going to act and tell the woman, thank you for being in my life. Thank God for bringing you in my life. And you know one of the most precious things too, brother? Let me tell you the most precious thing. The most precious thing, brother, is at night when you get in that bed and you hold her and go to sleep. And you don't have to have physical intimacy. You don't have to have sex all the time, brother. You just by you hugging her. And you know when you hug the right woman that God brought to you, you know what you're going to say to God. You may have said your prayer, but you know what you're going to say to God. You're going to say to God, God, thank you for this woman. That's what you're going to tell God. Thank you for her. And you see, that's why, brother, you don't put her on third, fourth string and all that kind of stuff. She comes right after God. Nobody or nothing come before her but God. So I'm telling you, brother, when God give you the right woman, you going to thank God. Because when everything is said and done, it's not about what you got. It's about who you are. And you're going to see that it's about who you are. Even if you lose your job, she's going to be there for you. Even if you go to jail, hoping you don't go to jail, she's going to be the one that bring the money and put it on the books for you. When you get sick, bro, listen to me. When you get sick, your friends, other women, even some of your relatives, they're not going to clean your butt. She will clean your butt. She might not want to do it, but she will clean your butt because you can't do it. I have seen some men, they go out to what they thought the grass was greener. They get with these Jezebel women. These Jezebel women run over and doing wrong, take everything, and they turn around and go back to who used to be their wife. And a lot of time, these women, they would take the man back and nurse the man. And a lot of you know stories like that. A man leave a good woman, he go out there in the street and do that product and stuff, and then he have to end up back with the woman. And it's by the grace of God that she take him back. I have seen that before. But you don't want to do that, brother. You don't want to see the grass is green and then come back to her on the rebound. No, you better stay with that one. Brother, while you're elevating, the woman that while God is elevating you, brother, the woman that's with you while you elevate, keep her with you. Because as you elevate in life, other women gonna see you elevate. They're gonna see you, then they might try to get you while you elevate. But why would you take a chance, brother, on being with another woman that was not with you when you started your journey? The woman that you started your journey with, that God brought to you, that's the woman that you finish your journey with. You don't start your journey, get up there, get big, and then want to leave her and say that she's no use to you. Brother, don't do it. Because once you leave a good woman, that might be it. Because if you go up, ain't nowhere to go but to come down. With that, my brother and sister, I hope that you all enjoyed this meal tonight. I hope you did. Share it with the family members and friends. If you're on the book or on the tube, go ahead and make your comments and like and share if you don't mind. Those of you that on the tube, if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that notification button and invite other people to come to the dinner table, because we always have good dinner here, my brother and sister, and it's all about relationship. Let me tell you then, my brother, the most important thing when it comes to relationship, brother and sister, the most important relationship is Jesus. Make sure that's your top relationship, brother and sister, because at the end, you either going to be with Jesus or not. And this eternity, you got to think about eternity, my brother and sister. Eternity. Who you want to be with in eternity with? Do you want to be with Jesus, or you don't want to be without Jesus? Because let me tell you something about eternity. If you don't accept Jesus now, you don't want to go in front of the white throne judgment and Jesus said, depart from me. You don't want to hear that word. A lot of people are going to hear Jesus say, depart from me, I never knew you. Then you hear some people say, you know everything. Then Jesus said, I don't know you. What Jesus is going to be talking about, I don't know your word. You didn't know me, I don't know you. Then Jesus going to say, next, he's going to talk to somebody else. And you crying to Jesus. Jesus going to say, next, one of y'all angels take him and throw him in the lake of fire. You don't want to hear Jesus get business like with you, do you? So the most important thing is have a relationship with Jesus. I'm telling you, my brothers, you don't know how long you're going to live. Most of us have made tentative plans for tomorrow. Most of us have thought about what we're going to do next week for Thanksgiving. Most of us. Thanksgiving is tentative. We don't know what's going to happen right now between now and Thanksgiving, but you got your plan. Everything you think about tomorrow, those are tentative plans. You don't know how long you're going to live. You don't know. The clock is ticking. You're either going to die before Jesus comes, or you're going to go with Jesus when he comes. One of the two. But you better make your election sure with Jesus. You know, I always talk about relationship between men and women. Why do I talk about relationship between men and women? Because when it all comes down to it, it's about the man and woman representing the Lord and his church. That's why I talk about relationships so much, because that's what's important. Relationship with God, brother. Relationship with God through his son Jesus. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. I'm telling you, my brother and sister, you may enjoy this stuff that I might be talking about at the dinner table, but the backbone of it is I talk to you because I try to lead you all to Jesus Christ. That's why I do what I do. It's bigger than being married to a man and a woman. It's bigger than that. Be married to Jesus. I love you, brothers. I love you, sisters. You all have a good night. Peace out.